Are you happy with your current job? Are you doing the work you want to be doing for a company you want to be working with? Do you dread your job and going to work every day? Do you think there's a more satisfying job out there? Something better paying or more rewarding? Do you feel like you're growing and learning or making a difference? Are you earning enough? Does your work reflect some aspect of who you are as a person? My promise to you is that by the end of this short video, you will have a rock-solid game plan to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. I've been helping people change their jobs, their lives, for over 30 years. In this short 20-minute clip, I'll give you a roadmap and a clear understanding of the processes required to change your job and your career, again, basically your life. And I'm not going to hide my face and use fancy graphs and visuals because I want you to see my face and expressions so you will completely realize I mean business, and so you'll understand how logical and effective this program is. Of course, you have a major role to play in this exercise. It doesn't happen by itself, but you'll be blown away by how painless this process is. It's simply a fast-track 3-3-3 process. That means 3-step process that transpires over 3 hours spread over 3 weeks. You'll be amazed and energized by this process. So whether you dislike your boss or your coworkers, or maybe you find your work boring or unfulfilling, maybe you hate your commute or the industry you're in, it doesn't matter. I'll get you through to the other end if you commit to watching this short video that will explain how I'll set you on the path to get you where you want to be. I'll show you what steps you need to take to get clarity and improve your personal brand to attract what you want in your life. I'll walk you through my highly effective, tried and proven, fast-track 3-step process. Hello, I'm Barry Schulman, and I've been helping people change their jobs for 30 years. If you find that alone is not enough of a reason to consider working with me, keep listening. The process I've perfected is for anyone who isn't happy with their job, or anyone considering making a change, but has no clue on how to navigate the process. This is for people in many different categories and circumstances who crave a new job or career change. This is for college students about to enter the workforce, or for the parents of college students who want to give their kids a competitive edge when they graduate. This is for people with 20 years or 15 years of work experience, people with just 1 to 3 or 4 or 5 years of work. It doesn't matter. If you're unhappy with your work life, we should talk. This is not one of those long and boring 45-minute videos. This is a 20-minute clip that will very quickly and concisely show you how to change your job in a big way so you can immediately stop feeling stuck, or unfulfilled, or hopeless. The keywords are quickly and concisely because I'm all about being quick and concise. Most coaches want you to sign contracts that go for months and cost thousands and thousands of dollars. That's weekly calls for months and months and thousands of dollars for what can be done in 3 cumulative hours. I'm all about cutting to the chase and working with people who are in touch with their desires. I'm not about dragging things out and revisiting your childhood. If you're looking for a fast, effective, and proven process, and most importantly, you're motivated and committed to making a change, you're in the right place. My clients work in every imaginable industry, at all levels. Public relations, advertising, financing, high technology, service industries, customer-facing industries, travel, legal, healthcare, pharma, social media, small, mid-sized, global corporations, startups, nonprofits. Machinery, administration, sales, marketing, operations, on and on. Doesn't matter. Every person I've ever worked with has learned how to make a successful job and career change after working together. The pace and speed in which this happens is totally up to you, but the common theme of every person I've ever coached is their unhappiness with their current work and a desire to be happier in their current job. If this is you, this fast-track program will help. My success rate is 100% because I only work with people who are motivated and committed to making change. If you're not committed to change, or you're afraid of change, there's no need to continue watching this because we won't be working together. But if you're ready to improve your job and career, and life in general, keep listening. This fast-track 3-3-3 coaching method consists of 3 hours spent over 3 weeks covering 3 major areas, and I'm going to share them with you now. giving you a step-by-step overview of how this process works. But first, I've got one question for you. Are you doing a job you love? Okay, forget love. Are you doing a job you enjoy? Sadly, most people are doing jobs they dislike, jobs that numb and bore them. In fact, most people are uninspired and depressed by what they do all day. They're working for the paycheck, or benefits, or little else. And they go to work each day dreaming about doing something else, something better. And I'm here to tell you there's no reason for that. Before I give you the specifics of this fast-track 333 process I use with all my clients, let me tell you what led me to coaching and why you can trust me to help you. I started coaching people in 1986, before anyone knew what a career coach was. In fact, I was a career coach and I didn't even know it. In college, I studied people as a sociology major. I was always fascinated by the decisions that people made and how they processed things and why they did what they did. I mean, people still fascinate me, but I now understand how motivations, fears, and desires play into our decisions, especially as related to work. I understand how the mind works and how every one of us loops the same stories again and again in our head, and how most of the time these stories are not even true. After having many jobs as a young man, in 1986 I started working for an executive search firm on Madison Avenue in New York City. This was a high-end retained search firm that got paid by hiring companies to find people with very specific backgrounds. It wasn't long into the first year of that amazing experience that I began joking with my friends that I was running a mental health clinic, because everyone I was talking to was unhappy with their jobs. My very smart boss told me I had to reach out to and speak with at least 10 to 20 new people every day to be successful. And this was before the internet. This was not an easy job. But I started cold calling potential candidates in competitive companies to the clients I was working for to fill their open recs. And I quickly learned the politics of interrupting people during their workday to talk about new opportunities. And I also got a heavy dose of reality. Most people are in jobs by default, not because they chose them. I learned that most people wanted to be elsewhere doing another job. I remember being amazed by how many people were truly miserable and unfulfilled in their jobs. Rarely did I speak to anyone who wasn't interested in hearing about another job. It seemed like almost everyone was ready to jump ship or make a move, or at least interested in entertaining the idea of making a move. I learned then, in my late 20s, that I was a messenger of opportunity, bringing new possibilities to unsuspecting candidates. And this was all done on the telephone. And it didn't take long before I found myself carving out a niche, being a coach and a recruiter. I actually found myself dissuading people from taking certain jobs I was representing after hearing their story, because it was clear to me they really wouldn't be happy. I could see people going after jobs they'd be miserable doing simply based on what they were telling me. That old adage about not being able to see the forest through the trees really started to ring true. Most people are terrible when it comes to self-assessment. Of course, it is indeed, by definition, impossible to be objective with oneself. I've worked with people who couldn't get a job interview to save their lives. I've worked with people who were successful in their jobs, but wanted to do something completely different. People who wanted to change industries. People who were simply concerned with earning more money. I've worked with people who were considering changing their job just because of their title, or their commute, or because they wanted stock options. You see, there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to your personal desires. There is no right or wrong reason as to why you're choosing to make a change in your life, because we all just want to be happy and live in abundance. So this leads me to my 333 process that will help you stop the feeling of dread of going to a job you dislike and allow you to live the life you deserve. The first step is assessment and evaluation. Let me explain. Most people go wrong on their first step when considering a job because they pay no attention to their innate skills and interests. They just get a job and go from there. It's so important to assess and evaluate who you are and what makes sense for you. Without this information, you're bound for a mediocre work experience at best. The best way to do this is to make a pro and con list. Sounds cliche, but it works. Make this list about your current role and measure it against what you prefer to be doing. For example, is a career that involves building things important to you? Or do you enjoy people, but only face-to-face as opposed to on the phone? You've got to do some real soul searching. It's critical that you take time to focus on what is important to you. Also, you've got to take a realistic look at your skill sets and how they play into what you're doing now and what you'd like to be doing in your next role. For example, are you a problem solver? Or are you analytical? Are you an introvert or an extrovert? And how do you feel about a desk job versus moving around a lot and being outside? Of course, use your prior work experience as a baseline for this decision-making process, and you will find it works. I've just emailed you a workbook. It's now in your inbox. It'll list all of the things I've just discussed. Secondly, and equally as important, is opportunity research. In other words, do you really know what's out there? Do you have any idea of the variety of things that you could be doing with your life? It's a big world out there, and once you have an idea about your predilections, innate skills, and you couple them with your desires, you're on the right track to arrive where you want to be. The best way to do this is to make sure you've done the assessment and evaluation process first. That's critical. Then it's time to start looking at opportunities. There are jobs out there that you don't even know exist. People are doing things every day that will blow your mind. So there are several ways to tackle this. I tell people to first choose companies that intrigue and excite them. Go to their websites and look at the open positions and read their job descriptions. You'll learn a ton. Also, look at some of your local college's master-level courses. You'll learn about jobs based on the courses and degrees you see listed. Another very logical venue is getting online to see your nearest city's local business journal. They'll most likely have a book of lists. Now, this is really important because unless you're willing to relocate for a job, you're really only interested in exploring opportunities that are within a reasonable commute from your home. And everyone's idea of a reasonable commute is different. While the U.S. Census Bureau states that the average commute is 26 minutes, most people living in a metropolitan area commute almost double that time. This is really something to consider. Also, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and a Yale University report, 70% of all jobs are found through networking. A recent survey by Career Crossroads shows that only 15% of positions were filled through job boards. So there's a whole topic of networking that needs to be discussed. And I could go on, but you get the point. You need to understand the basic tactics for finding your next role. You will also find a section on this in the workbook I just emailed you. The third and critically important step to this process is your branding, or representing your personal brand. Your personal brand is your unique combination of experience and skill sets that make you, you. This is how you differentiate yourself and beat out the competition for a job that makes total sense for you. Ask yourself, is my resume accurate? Is it reflective of who I am? Or does it have too much ancient history? Do I tell my story well enough? For example, does your resume list every job you've ever had since grade school? Most people do that. How content heavy is it? Does it reflect the position you're going after? Did you know most people who are serious about making a career or job change have more than one version of their resume? They customize the resume for each opportunity they're investigating. This is serious stuff. It's basically a fact sheet on your career and work history. Please do not, under any circumstances, employ the use of fancy fonts, colored backgrounds, or colored paper, or anything that detracts or obfuscates your experience and who you are. Your job is to make your resume accurate, easy to read, and it should not be complex, complicated, or too busy. Then there's the whole conversation about putting goal summary versus experience summary at the top. I have a lot to say about that. Another critical facet of your personal brand is your LinkedIn profile. Does it reflect the image and experience you want to convey to the world and prospective employers? You know everyone looks at your LinkedIn profile. It has to be perfect. Choose a photo that is professional and only use a headshot. Don't use photos of you hiking or eating or driving, and please, no swimsuits, short sleeves, or sleeveless shirts. LinkedIn gives you an opportunity to tell your story. Your work life story, not your life story. There is a huge difference. You must be selective but thorough, and your English and syntax needs to be perfect. And again, the copy needs to support the case for you getting the role you're interested in. Prospective employers look at who you follow on LinkedIn. They look at your posts, who you like. It's an amazing tool. Hundreds of millions of people use it every day. It has over 500 million users. You need to be smart about how to make it work for you. Also, equally important is your personal brand, the cover letter. How do you even think about tone, length, pertinent data, and structure? This is where a lot of candidates are eliminated from the hiring process because their ability to write cogently is extremely important, and the ability and necessity of spell checking, key. What do you think a prospective employer is going to think when they read a cover letter that hasn't been proofread or spell checked? Cover letters must address the specifics of the job description by correlating your prior work experience against the role at hand. A cover letter demonstrates your command and understanding of the role by spelling out synergies in your background, skill sets, and experience. Cover letters should be concise, memorable, and honest, and they should reflect the type of company you're applying to. A graphic design firm that values creativity warrants a different cover letter than a law firm. And again, proofread your cover letter. And last but not least, when you're trying to support your personal brand, how are your interview skills? Do you have any? Do you know how to be interviewed? If you made it to the interview, you've done an excellent job thus far. And I could go on and on about what you need to do and what not to, but here are just 5 important points. First, don't talk about the weather while getting settled. Read the newspaper that day and address something pertinent to the person interviewing you. Something about their background, or the industry, or their job, or the company. Anything but the weather. Secondly, dress professionally. Even if you know for a fact the office is always business casual, I don't care if you're working in a warehouse. Wear a suit. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The interviewer and your potential coworkers will be taking a mental photo of what you look like, and everyone looks better in a suit. Dress for success. Third, make sure you know where you're going, and double check the time, and plan on getting to the area 15 minutes before the interview starts. You don't want to be late, thirsty, hungry, or need to use the restroom prior to your interview. And you want to walk into the meeting completely present. Otherwise, it'll be more difficult for you to find your center and answer questions. Fourth, make sure you stay on topic, and you've really got to monitor what you're saying. This is really important. Are you answering the questions directly? It's okay to ask, did I answer your question? Nothing worse as an interviewer than asking a question and listening to someone respond without answering it. Happens all the time. Don't do it. And while there are many more points I could address, the 5th point is to have good questions about the role prepared. You will be graded in your questions. They should be intelligent and reflect your understanding of the role. Don't ask about vacation time or work hours. Ask questions about the job. There are tons of other do's and don'ts around interviewing that we'll cover in our work together. Now, I promise you, if you take these 3 steps and put them into action using the workbook, you will change your life. Just remember this. Over the past 30 years, I've witnessed firsthand the enormous degree of misalignment between what people want to be doing and their current jobs. Most people have allowed their work to happen to them. They're passive bystanders. And most people have no idea how to assess their careers against their skill sets and desires. And most people don't have a clue about how to initiate a career shift. And of course, most people are scared to death to rock the boat. So, we have a majority of people in jobs they don't like without a clue on how to make things better. Add a little bit of fear of change, coupled with not knowing where to start, and you've got a lot of unhappiness. But it doesn't have to be that way. Those 3 steps I perfected are quick and effective, and they work. Now, you have a choice. You can take everything that you have learned today, along with the workbook, and go it alone. And I'm confident you'll do just fine. Or, if you are looking for a fast, guaranteed roadmap to change your current work situation, work with me at your side. I'll be at every step of the way. Then here's your opportunity. Look, Most coaches require you to sign up for months of hourly sessions where they painstakingly take you back to the very beginning of time and guide you through a discovery process that takes months and months. And be prepared to spend many thousands of dollars to get to the same place. The same place I can take you in just 3 hours. Yes, 3 hours. But this isn't for everyone. This process only works for people who actually want to make a change. And this is only for people who are committed to having a better work life, thus a better life in general. And most importantly, this work is for people who process quickly. You have to be able to process quickly. I've done this with hundreds and hundreds of people, all of whom have managed to make changes in their lives without wasting months and months and spending many thousands of dollars. In a total of just 3 hours, I'll take you through my 3-step fast-track process where we will assess, evaluate, research opportunities, and brand you through professional and insightful packaging in order for you to move forward towards the work you truly want. I'm going to hold you to task. We're going to talk a lot about a lot of things, and we'll move at a brisk pace. Again, your ability to process quickly is key. If we decide this is a good fit for you, and it may not be, my promise to you is this. By the time we're done working together, if you're truly dedicated to improving your current job, and thus life situation, you will have a new perspective, which means you'll no longer be tethered to your current job, and you'll be aware of the possibilities that can make you happier. And we'll have started the process together to help you move forward to your new job and career goals. If we're a good fit, you'll have new goals to strive for, giving you a new lease on life, and a new resume which allows you to get noticed more and is a proven door opener. And I'll help you edit it. And you'll have an improved LinkedIn profile which shows potential employers why you make sense. And I'll help you edit that too. You'll have the ability to write unique cover letters that work and differentiate you from your competition. And I'll help you edit them too. And you'll know how to ace an interview, which typically makes or breaks the hiring decision. And you'll understand what you need to do on your first day. I'll give you a lot of pointers, and you'll walk away with a step-by-step process. Of course, you'll be telling everyone how quickly and efficiently this process is too. Life's too short to be unhappy. Click on the button below and book a 15-minute call to see if we're a good fit. If so, we can discuss how I'll walk you through the process step by step and how working together will make you happier in your work and life. If you're not quite ready to work with me on this proven quick and efficient process, I know the 3 Steps workbook I sent you will definitely provide a roadmap to help you reshape your future. However, if you're ready to start making the job and career changes you seek now, please click the button below so we can set up a 15-minute no-charge call to discuss if this fast-track program is for you. Thanks, and I'll see you on the other side.